Dr. Zelenko, I'm honored once again to speak with you today, and I understand that you're in a hospital, and many of your friends, those who admire you and have tremendous gratitude for your amazing work, we're all davening, praying for you, and we would like to hear your update about your state and about your thoughts, please.
Thank you, Rabbi. Thanks for having me. Yeah, this video, we are talking from my hospital room. So what happened was last week, I went for a routine surveillance CAT scan. I was going every 6 months at this point to follow up on my history of cancer. And the radiologist saw a new mass, unfortunately, in my pulmonary artery connected to my pulmonic heart valve. And so then I went to see my surgeon. He did more testing, and then we did a PET scan, which is a nuclear scan that picks up metabolic activity in the body, and it also picked up something in my left hip. So I was admitted in the hospital, and yesterday I had a biopsy of my hip, and I was supposed to have open heart surgery today, but they pushed it off until Thursday. The idea with the open heart surgery would be to remove the mass and replace the pulmonic heart valve. Um, it's a big surgery, especially with one lung. It's risky, but I have a good, thank God I have a good team of doctors caring, and I'm optimistic. My parents, my wife, my children, everyone's very nervous, but for some reason I feel very kind of calm in my mind, and that's a product of many years of work on myself to realize that not to worry about things I can't control. So I used to say, if I need open heart surgery again and chemotherapy, I'd rather die. But then when when it comes to it, I'd rather live. So I'm willing to go again for open heart surgery and chemotherapy and radiation. So the desire of the soul to live in this world is it's a very interesting thing that we can analyze. Actually, that could be part of our talk. But that's the update. So
First of all, of course, I'm wishing you, on behalf of all of us, all our friends and family, full and speedy recovery. Refuah shlema to you,
yeah,
and we should share many more joyful occasions. And I'm confident and come for different reasons because I know how many lives were saved because of your efforts, and I know that you're a courageous person. And I think it's very, very important to speak to you now because at this very crucial moment of your life, uh, you are honest with yourself. So, what are your thoughts? What are you thinking about right now?
um, I realized that it's not that important how you die. It's much more important how you live, which in my mind means that you have to be, well, at least in my case, be much more appreciative for the gift of life, for the time that you are given. It's not to be taken for granted, and that time needs to be used in a way that is constructive. And if you're a Jew, constructive means to sanctify the name of God. There's nothing more um, precious, valuable, and in terms of a focus and a goal of someone's life. I mean, we all kind of run around trying to figure out what's important in life. So we chase money, we chase power, we chase materialistic pursuits, pleasures, and so on. But when you think deeply into reality, what is the purpose of creation, and what is the purpose of your life? So you realize that ultimately you want to become a partner with the creator of the universe to sanctify his name. Excuse me. Yeah, you can go ahead. I need to get a shot. Um, Yeah, hold on. Can you give it
We're
here?
with you.
Can you give it here? So, don't worry. So, so when someone is on the precipice of you know, no one knows what's going to be. Um, thanks.
So I have a beta blocker for you, but I checked your pressure a little too early. If you want to,
I need a few minutes.
yeah,
Okay?
yeah.
I'm doing an interview, so sorry about that. Technical
Well,
difficulty. So, so I realized that this last 4 months, which has been, very unusual, I would say, and to end up being on the front lines of the tip of the spear of a global crisis, and being kind of by necessity discovering an approach that not only does it provide a physical answer or treatment for a terrible infection, but I realized something much more fundamental, that this infection, what it has is it's touched every single human being on the planet. It touched it in several ways. So one way is it's created a tremendous amount of anxiety. There's a Chazal, the holy rabbis say, Ein simcha keteres hasveiches. There's no joy like when the resolution of doubt, meaning when a person lives with doubts, there's no joy. And I'd probably say that this whole world right now doesn't have joy. And the reason why is because we're living in a doubt. If you listen to the so-called experts, it's doom and gloom, the world is going to end. And what I realized that by stumbling across a cheap, effective, and safe solution, or part of the solution to this problem, it's created hope and optimism, sort of like a light in the darkness for everyone. And I realized that that hope came in a Hasidic package, with a religious Jew with a beard and I'm not saying I'm the best Jew, but I try to improve every day. But my point is that the way to soften the world, the way to sanctify the name of God, the way to the Lubavitcher Rebbe used to say that the world will be redeemed with acts of goodness and kindness. That's a universal language that is applicable across space and time. So every human being understands acts of kindness, acts of mercy, and creating or finding a potential solution for a horrible, terrible disease that there is no solution to, and it's coming in a package of a religious Jew. It seems that it sanctifies the name of God on a global scale. And see, it's not about that the whole world should know who Dr. Zelenko is. Not important. What is important is that the whole world should know who God is. And if that comes through Dr. Zelenko or through Rabbi Katsina, through whoever, it's a wonderful purpose of someone's life. So I have a certain inner sense of peace that regardless of the outcome of what's going to be, that I have been blessed with the maturity and the insight to understand what is really significant, what is meaningful, what is life, how best to live. So, I'm sharing these ideas and these thoughts with whoever's listening, with the hope that they will affect and influence the way the listener lives. And by doing so, will purify the world by bringing the knowledge of God into the world, which is the antidote to lies, to corruption, to death. So that's what I'm thinking about. Yeah.
So if I understand you correctly, what I'm learning from you is that it's much more important how you live than how you die. Some people at last moments of their lives, they regret And they regret not only what did they do wrong, but even more importantly, what they didn't do right. They did not fulfill their purpose. They did not search for their meaning. So what I'm hearing from you is that you have a sense of mission and purpose in the world, and that's what gives you a sense of calmness.
Right. So there is I realize in life that really almost every part of life is filled with mystery. It's filled with the unknown. And it's how we navigate that realm of the unknown, the mysterious, that determines how um, psychologically healthy we are. So, in other words, uh, some people react to the unknown with anxiety. But what I realized that the unknown is an opportunity to grow in your pure and simple, super rational faith in God. So right now I'm faced with the unknown, meaning I don't know what the biopsy results from yesterday will be. I don't know what's going to happen when I'm having open heart surgery. I don't know what's going to happen afterwards. There's a lot of unknowns. And the way I interpret or process that is that I'm going to, regardless of the outcome, but I'm going to rely on two simple principles: that God exists and that he is good, but that everything that he does is perfect and good. Even I may not see it now, but my life experience has shown me that in retrospect, when I do look back, I do discover the depth of his somewhat the depth of the wisdom that what he put me through. So uh, I have no complaints, no I'm not looking forward to the pain, I have to tell you, but even that is um, part of the process. So
In fact, you actually took the question out of my mouth. I wanted to ask you a very personal and direct question. Are you angry with Hashem? Are you angry with God?
no. Um, if anything, I am extremely grateful, and I thank him for the opportunity to be for the life that he's given me, and for the opportunity to struggle and to be challenged. And that, in my opinion, is the purpose of life. That there is you always reach the edge of your comfort level, and beyond that is an opportunity to go into the untamed wild chaos and harness some of that chaos into and incorporate it and process it into your life and grow using that chaos. So it's like um, we live on a razor's edge of two parallel systems, one of order and one of chaos. And the idea is to harness the best of both. You see, if you live too much in an ordered life, you're afraid to go outside. You never do anything. It's not much of a life. Then again, if you always take too much risk, then that's eventually going to result in you just destroying yourself. The key is to find the balance of the razor's edge between risk and order, between um, taking initiative and harnessing unknown energies, and at the same time using the stability of the structure and order of your life to combine the two. It's a subtle idea, but it's the idea in Kabbalah of taking the lights of Tohu and putting them into the vessels of Tikkun. And so inspiration is derived from the unknown. And the structure to process things in a stable way is derived from the known. So you need to couple the unknown with the known. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's how I view life.
At the moments of truth, we see with calmness that comes also the right priorities of life. What would you recommend us, parents, husbands, and wives, children. What is actually the right way to look at life and priorities?
It's very simple once you get down to it. It's to stop running and looking for something. Everything you need is right within you right now. Meaning, the fact that you can actually feel your pulse and take a breath in itself should provide such a exhilarating sense of uh, pleasure from the understanding that God wills you to be at this very moment, because nothing happens without His will. Happy birthday, Rabbi! I told you this before. Because every second, He's David Hashem is creating you, creation ex nihilo, something from nothing. Bria yesh ma'ayin. In other words, the fact that we continue to exist is a proof that He wills us to exist. And if you just contemplate and realize that He's willing you to be right now, you live in a certain state of absorption in divinity that is extremely powerful. You see, anxiety and depression lives in the place where God is not. So if a person lives psychologically where he doesn't let the creator in to his life, then there is this vacuum of space psychologically where he is not. And in that space is where anxiety and depression lives. So you have to fill that space and bring God, the knowledge and the belief of the creator into your mind and into your heart. And that's much better than Zoloft. So I really feel that there's a big secrets here that I've stumbled across through my journey of challenges, so to speak.
And what about relationship with people? What would you recommend, once again, how to enhance and strengthen our families, our community?
My wife came to visit me today, and I was thinking to myself, this could be the last time I ever see her. That's for sure. And I thought to myself, how many times did I spend time with the closest people that I love and take it for granted? Okay? So I think you have to realize how precious it is to be given souls that are part of you or part of your life that emanate affection and love and concern for you, and that should not be taken lightly, and that should be cherished. And it's more precious than any material um, acquisition. And I really think that spending time, just time, with the people that you love, and you don't even have to do anything, just be together, is priceless. And you don't think about it until you realize that it may be gone. Nature of humanity, not to appreciate what you have until it's taken away. So my advice to whoever's listening is appreciate it now. Why do you have to wait?
Sometimes people complain, and they complain about little things, and they are impatient or furious about things that you as a doctor probably could tell them, listen, you're not in a hospital, appreciate life, but now you are in a hospital. What would you tell all these people that maybe take things for granted from your hospital bed?
You are missing the big picture, and you are getting stumbled. You're getting caught up on uh, insignificant things, which cloud your perception of reality, which leads you to waste wonderful opportunities to extract the beauty, that the potential beauty that exists right in front of you. So it's sad. It's sad because the saddest part in life is potential not actualized. If someone has the opportunity to experience love, and for immature or insignificant reasons they do not, it's a tremendous loss. So that's what I would say. Do not waste the opportunities that are being given to you every second of your life, because you don't know how many seconds you have.
You know, my wife actually suggested me to give you a blessing, which I want to give, and ask you maybe to explain this thought in your words. I was very inspired to hear your idea that the reason why we say the first words, thank you, Hashem, modeni lefanecha, for giving us life and believing in us, and not pronouncing Hashem's name, is because actually there is no name needed. Because the highest level of godliness in the world, of spirituality in the world, cannot be limited to any words or any God names. And she said to me, please tell Dr. Zelenko, when he wakes up after the surgery, to say it with gratitude more than Elefanecha, remembering his own idea. So I'm giving you a brocha, a blessing that you should wake up, and we should enjoy you and your health and your clear thoughts and your ideas, and we should continue. We should watch you continuously fighting for the health of the world and people. And I'm sure that your ideas under your leadership will continue to conquer the world and actually defeat the illness of COVID-19, because you are leading these efforts. So, but would it be okay to ask you to once again explain it? What does it mean when a Jew wakes up?
So yeah, there is according to the code of Jewish law, Shulchan Aruch, when a Jew wakes up in the morning, he has to pronounce with his first energy that he acknowledges before God that he has restored his soul with kindness and mercy. And what's interesting is that it says that you are allowed to say this blessing even though your hands are in a state of impurity. Because when a person wakes up, sleep is likened to 1/60th of death. So when a person is sleeping, the spirit of impurity rests over the person. And when the soul returns, it departs except on the hands, and specifically the nails. So it is a Jewish law to take a cup of water, called negawasser, and to wash off the impurity. Now, according to the law, we are allowed to refer to God in this prayer, even though we didn't clean our hands. Even though we're technically still in a state of impurity, we're still allowed to refer to God, simply because that blessing or that phrase does not have the name of God. So that's the simple explanation. But the deeper explanation, the Hasidic, Kabbalistic perspective on this is remarkable. And it goes like this, that the essence of God, Sushnis Boga, the quintessence, the whatever God, the Helam Ha'atzmi, whatever God is, we can only say, the Rambam says that we can only use Lashon Shlila. We can say what God is not, but to say what God is not it's not appropriate, actually. So I could tell you God is not physical, right? I can also tell you he's not spiritual. God is not finite. He is also not infinite. In other words, any attempt to describe him, even the concept of spirituality or infinity, is limiting him. And that is inappropriate. That gives him a form, and he has no form. He has no defining that we could comprehend, the defining elements. So he was called the formless abstraction. This gets a little philosophical, but the idea is like this, that if we were to refer to the essence of God, so there are many names that God has, right? We can go through them if you like. There's the name Kale. So that refers to his attributes of kindness. There's the name Elohim. That refers to his attributes of judgment, severity. There's Yud Kei Vav Kei. That refers to his attributes of beauty and harmonization. There's the name Shalom, which refers to his attribute of foundation. There's the name Adonai, which refers to his attribute of kingship. And there's others. But the essence of God is not defined by those names. In other words, if you put all those names together, it's not God. He's not the sum of his parts because he has no parts. So it turns out that the essence of God has no name that could be defined, so to speak, with letters. I'll tell you, there's a Kabbalah Sefer from Rabbi Joseph Gikatalia from the 13th century, which says a very interesting thing, that God's essential name is Yud Kei Vav Kei without the letters Yud Kei Vav Kei. But that's for another lecture. But anyway, the point is that there is no defining name for God's essence, only for his attributes. Now let's go to the Jewish soul. There's a principle in Judaism that when something is connected to the source of life, to its source, it's impermeable to receive impurity. So, for example, something growing from the ground, as long as it's bound to the ground, it cannot receive impurity. Once it's severed, then it can. So, the idea here is that since the essence of a Jew, the Pintele Yid, we call it, the Yechida Shebenefesh, since the essence of a Jew is by definition bound to the essence of God, it's a chip off the old block, so to speak. Ner Havaya Nishmas Adam, the candle of God is the soul of man. It's a literal part of God from above. So since the essence of the Jewish soul is always bound to God, so from the perspective of essence of the soul, it's always pure. So now let's view the morning reference to God from a different perspective, from the perspective of essence to essence. Yechida liyachdach, God's essence to your essence. Now, so why is it that you could refer to God before washing your hands? Because your essence is pure. Your essence does not require washing. And why is it that the blessing does not have God's name? Because we're talking to God's essence. We're not talking to a lower level of his names. It's essence to essence. So for that reason, it's a very beautiful, very delicate idea that since your essence is completely pure, it can refer to God directly. But since God's essence is formless, we cannot limit him with a name. So that's why we don't mention a name. It's a very beautiful idea, in my opinion.
What I'm learning from this idea from you is not only the greatness and purity of God, maybe not less, but actually even more important, the purity of man and his essence. And as long as we believe in our own purity, goodness, and believe that there is a godliness and spirituality within us, and this is who are essentially we are. We're not the evil people. We're not the evil inclinations that sometimes we experience, but essentially we are good. I think it provides the courage, the strength to overcome all battles, external and internal. And I think that your strong faith inspires us, especially your personal experience and your pure faith at this moment of truth. It inspires me deeply. I want to wish you speedy and full recovery to continue your fight because we need you very much. Humanity needs you to succeed and defeat illness. I want to thank you so much.
Mr. Strom. Amen. Thank you, Rabbi. Thank you for all these months of helping get the truth out to humanity.
Thank you so much.